everybody, I am Tommy Scoville. This is the Love Boat, sometimes called the Captain, occasionally referred to as the Admiral. Just another junkie trying to stay sober. AVAC, how are you? Rocket Queen. Oh, yeah, good to see you. Jane Aldrich, Kristen Melinda. So let me tell you about yesterday real quick, folks, because this is going to be a real quick one. Today is Sunday. Sunday. Telemundo. I'm going to church this morning. Barbara Wake, good to see you. Honey, how are you? Honey, love that cat in a basket. Honey sent me a picture of her cat in a basket. I want to apologize to all the people I don't answer emails to. I really do. I realized how unbelievably far behind I am in emails yesterday, and it's, again, if you put in the heading, hey, I need help, I answer those. I answer them quickly, but there's a lot of people that I don't get to, and I apologize for that. But you know what? This is a gratitude session real quick. This is no joke, a gratitude session before I go to church, because yesterday I didn't have the ability to upload anything. I couldn't even upload a short off my phone. Johnny has the more high tech of the Apple phones. Buenos dias, or buenos. Johnny has the more up-to-date Apple iPhone. Hey, Alec Lime, I have the previous model. It's not an old one. It's last year's kind of thing. But I couldn't even get my shorts to upload. At one point, the upload speed was 40 megabits per second, which for all intent and purpose is dial-up. It was about as bad as it goes. Cindy G, good to see you. Brock Bandy, there you are, brother. Hello, Lisa Trimble. This is the kind of frustration that makes these things end up in the Pacific Ocean. I did not get flustered by anything yesterday. I really didn't. I was very, very calm about everything going on. Don't take this the wrong way, but I just didn't care. And that's not who I am. It's I get very frustrated with that all of the time. I would say right around 8 o'clock last night, all of the people of Miss Ecuador got offline at the same time to walk outside onto the Malecon, right? The boardwalk. And I'm not exaggerating. Pretty much all of Salinas went out last night onto the boardwalk. And I was sitting in the living room, and I was like every 20 minutes all day yesterday, we just went and looked at what the speed was, right? Is the speed fast enough for us to do anything around here? And I looked over at my brother and I said, hey, we've got enough upload speed where we could probably go live. And he went, oh, that's awesome. And 2 seconds later, it was as loud as a nightclub in this living room. So you have seen us filming, and they've got this stage set up and there's lights everywhere. That curtain in the back was digital. The entire thing lit up. It had the special effects, pyrotechnics. This is the biggest show that we've ever seen put on. And I think that maybe somewhat ignorantly, because, well, we're somewhat ignorant. We were under the assumption this was part of the Canton Nation Day that was continuing. I mean, that's worth celebrating. It's when you became a nation. Not what was happening. You know what was happening? The crowning of Miss Ecuador. So like from 18 or 19 or something, did you catch the number?
18.
18.
Oh, yeah, I think 18.
Johnny thinks 18. Different places around Ecuador crown a winner of their local pageants, like Miss Guayaquil or Miss Salinas or whatever the case may be. And last night they all got together. I guess they've been doing it for 3 days. What is amazing is that we didn't see any of it. Couldn't tell you if the person that won was blonde or brunette. I watched every one of the fireworks displays. I was kind of into that. I spent a lot of time watching the people go up and down the street, but I have never, since getting here, heard noise like we heard last night. It's somewhat terrifying. If this is what the season is like, I'm just not going to be able to live here, which is kind of a bummer. There's no way I could do 3 months with the noise that was here last night. It was, I mean, you felt it in your chest. It was honestly like being inside a nightclub. I should have gone live just so that you could have heard me try to speak over it. The ocean sounds here run about 80 decibels, which is like having somebody with a leaf blower kind of sound, right? It's now ocean sounds are beautiful, so they don't offend you, but it's loud. Like if you're outside on the balcony, depending on whether you're at low or high tide, having a conversation is just a little bit next to impossible. Getting ready to head to church, but wanted to say happy Sunday to everyone, praying for you all. Connor, thank you. Have a great time at church, my brother. So, but the takeaway for this, for me, is not that a lot of women who are taller than every other woman in Ecuador walked around a stage last night. Honestly, I couldn't care less. But the takeaway from yesterday was the complete and utter lack of frustration at the fact that I could not go live. It's the same 5% that's been kicking the ever-loving stuffing out of me for the better part of 4 years. 4 years as of the 31st day of July. So I'm into my 5th year of being a channel, and nothing frustrates me more than the inability to go live. And you know why? It's because I'm arrogant. I'm not kidding you. It's because I sit here and I say stuff to myself like, what if somebody needs help tonight? That's arrogance. I promise it is. For real. I say things a lot that I need to think about a lot harder before I say them. For instance, Q saved my life. I saved my life. I did. I've never saved anyone's life on the lifeboat. That's not how it works. But there are times where I feel frustrated, especially if I'm in the middle of one and we're having a good one and the thing flashes out and you feel like, man, this was good, right? I was perhaps the teacher when the pupil, was ready, kind of a thing. Archie's mom, good to see you. I downloaded Johnny's Ocean Sleep Track. It's brilliant if you have trouble falling asleep. I'll tell you something. When the noise is not here, this is the easiest place to sleep in the world. And there's always background noise. I hate silence. There's always background noise, and it's usually quite pleasant. Last night, it was 1989. When we say that this place it's like being in the past, because you're spending dollars, but the prices are so different, and just how everything is. The technology's not up to where everyone else is. We told you when we go to the rehab, nobody there's ever heard of YouTube. Last night, the music proved it really is 1989 here. The music they were playing Flashdance. They were playing so many of the songs that they played were just straight out of the 1980s. It was very odd. It really was. It was somewhat bizarre. But I felt fantastic not being bothered by the sounds of the world. I did. It was the 5%. And my 95% yesterday was better than it's been ever. I'm not exaggerating, ever. Not sure what that is. I'm gonna try to figure it out. Didn't shave before I went live today. Check it out. I'm starting to work on the Dr. Phil. Can you see it coming in on the side? The thing of it is, you can lead a horse to water, you just can't teach him algebra. I don't care. The more that I get into this I don't care thing, the better off I seem to be. I'm not kidding. So we're going to be heading to church. You're not going to see Johnny Scobell going live after me. Johnny is going to be doing a bus pass only show today that I'm looking forward to seeing. The good news about him doing a bus pass only show is he's not going to drop another 500 subs, right? Because only the bus pass people will be able to see it. I'm going to be going live and it isn't going to be bus pass. So I still have hopes of losing another 200. Oh, no, you are. You're way ahead. He's definitely winning in the race to prune the tree, so to speak. I'm not going to be shoving anything down anyone's throat today. I'm not here to proselytize. I've never been able to pronounce that word right. I try to go over it really quickly. It's a trick of public speaking. If there's a word you don't quite know, if you just speed it up really fast as you get to it, people assume that you're saying it right. But I'm not always sure that I'm actually saying that right. You know what else has been happening? Tell me if you think that this is a cool experiment. You should give it a try. My brother and I have made a silent pact, because we haven't said it out loud, but we've made a silent pact to cut down the things that we watch that are negative. And you say to yourself, you guys watch negative content? I don't watch haters hating on people. I don't watch anything like that. But I tend to watch, a guilty pleasure of mine is watching jackasses get tased and pepper sprayed. I know that that's awful, but it's the truth. And I've done it for a long time. If there's somebody that really is giving the cops the business, it's kind of amazing that I found myself rooting for cops in older age. I find myself in new territory about every 6 minutes. I really do. I find myself in completely new territory every 6 minutes. But we turned off watching that kind of negative stuff. And we've gone out of our way to watch things that are intentionally uplifting. We went out of our way to start watching things, and I don't mean all religious, by the way, or anything like that, but stuff that is overtly positive. And if you spend all of your time talking about how garbage in, garbage out, you start to feel like, well, maybe I'm freaking enlightened. You know what I mean? Like you start believing that guru crap for about 10 minutes. And you start thinking to yourself, well, what I'm doing is more of a case study. I'm not really a part of all of this negative stuff. I'm sort of doing the overview so that I can talk to the people that I share my time with and explain these stuff. Of course, that's all BS. It really is. It's just how you justify watching hate when you tell other people not to. That is what it is. Hey, Joy Lee, good Sunday morning to you too. But I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt that just a half a day, which is about what it's been, yeah? About a half a day of saying the things that come in here and here, I'm going to make positive. I'm not going to allow negative stuff into my body. And the difference that I feel in a half a day, and I mean emotionally, spiritually, not trying to bum anybody out, but that word too. And here's the thing. If you think, oh, here he goes. What have I been saying since the day this channel started? Drugs do what? They eliminate pain. Physical pain, spiritual pain, emotional pain. Now, meth doesn't do much for a sore back, but my drug of choice sure as hell did, right? The morphine molecule takes away pain of all kind. It takes away physical pain. It takes away spiritual pain. It takes away emotional pain. And when you chase that for 3 decades, the idea that there may be something out there that can take away those 3 pains that don't require you plunging a needle into your arm is a concept that no matter how much you talk about, maybe you don't give it enough thought. Like I give it a lot of jaw jacking, but the actual, I don't know, application, don't get me wrong. I journal my backside off and I do everything else that I talk about doing, but I start slicing things into really small slices, right? That are disingenuous. I can lecture people on watching hate, right? Because in my head, I think the hate's about me. But if you're watching stuff that's intentionally just negative, I mean, how many times can you watch somebody getting tased or pepper sprayed before it starts having an effect on you? And you start looking at humanity as something that you want to see slapped around for entertainment. I'm not judging you, I'm judging me. Garbage in, garbage out. I'm really good at projecting that on other people. I'm not so good at looking at it myself. And I don't remember which one of us came up with this idea, but it has been profoundly life-changing in a very short period of time. I will be doing a bus pass only live stream every Sunday from now on. Now, here's the deal. One of the reasons that I have never done members only content is because I have these lofty opinions of myself from time to time. And I think that the stuff that I'm doing should be heard by everybody, because what if the student is ready and the teacher wanted to charge money for the entrance fee? I don't want to offend people away from the channel, but there are things that I'm going to say out loud. So maybe it'll be better if I do it that way. I don't know. Still doing a lot of thinking, reflecting, and praying about that. I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't. It's not my goal. I want to be the most inclusive person in the entire world. And I've been telling myself that for a really long time. I want to be inclusive of everybody, because there are so many people that need help that, that could be from anywhere. And being inclusive is a really good thing, unless it means lying about what you believe, because that's not always a good thing. Joel Osteen, sorry. There are people out there that have elevated telling people what they want to hear to an art form, and I'm not going to be that cat. There are times that the truth might be a pinch uncomfortable. If you're not journaling, you're not going to be successful. If you're not trying to look at the positive things in life, you're not going to be successful. Doesn't mean you can't get through, right? There are people that are going to die today who spent their entire life miserable and don't even realize it. But if you're going to be the best version of yourself, you're going to spend a little time trying to be a better version of yourself, right? Restricting the stuff that comes into your head that's garbage, restricting the stuff that comes out of your mouth that is garbage, right? These are concepts, by the way, that anybody can get behind. You don't have to be following the same things that I follow in order to feel that way, right? Saying things that aren't going to hurt people, being very cautious of the words you say, not having barbs on them, shouldn't be something that should be restricted to one religion or another, right? By the way, I've read a lot of religious texts, and that whole treat your neighbor as yourself thing, that comes up in every single one of the books. I can drop that one and not offend anybody. I'm going to become a better version of myself. And I'm not going to lecture people about it. I'm hoping that a couple of people, just notice it and maybe reach out. I'm in month 2 of journaling, and it kind of feels like the literary equivalent of labor pains, right? Right? I'm on year 10. Audra in Denver. Here's the thing, and I'm not going to, I won't go too deep down this rabbit hole because I'm not trying to bum anybody out. But what Joel Osteen has done is turned faith into Santa Claus. If you just ask, you got to keep your eyes shut when you do it, though. If you just ask, right, he's going to deliver. God will answer every single prayer. Unfortunately, a lot of times he says no, right? I've never been very good at knowing what should happen to me. When left to my own devices, I think that the best course of action is to get as much heroin as possible and shove it in my veins. I did it for 30 years. Backing away from that and maybe not living on by my own compass has made progress. I've got a lot more to make. And I'm going to start removing planks before I start getting too involved in splinters. I'm going to be spending a lot more time looking at me. I'm going to be spending more time on big picture stuff, not lecturing anybody. I'm going to be lecturing me. I need to become a better version of who I am. I do believe I'm in the right place at the right time. I'd hate to think that I'm in the right place at the right time and not doing the right thing. That would suck, right? Honestly, that's the kind of thing that's scarier than going to bed without a fix for the morning, which used to be my biggest fear in life. He says no quite a bit. Yes, he does. Yeah, he does. You know what's weird, though? I found, especially in the past, that I could be talking to a higher power. I could be journaling for what I want in life. I could be, if you want to talk about trying to manifest it or any of the stuff that has nothing to do with God, so I don't scare anybody away. But when I am relying on what I think my future ought to be, when I'm relying on what I think I ought to be doing and where I ought to be, I get a lot of no's. And it's probably because I have no idea what all of those things ought to be, right? All of my best practices landed me in prison, not once, not twice, thrice. So it seems like the more that I get out of what I was expecting my future to be, which had a lot to do with Ferraris and Audemars Piguet wristwatches, I didn't think I'd be at a rehab in Ecuador, but it was more fun than any place I've ever been. Couldn't have told me that one 6 months ago. I promise you, you'd have been able to knock me over with a feather. So I'm going to go shave this dome so that I don't look like Dr. Phil when I show up at church today. Johnny Scoville, probably be a show worth watching this afternoon, and don't miss mine. By the way, I'd love to tell you who Miss Ecuador is, but I couldn't be bothered to find out. And I don't mean any disrespect. There are people that worked very hard, I'm sure, to get into that position. And I'm sure that even a year ago, I'd have been down there front row center. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either. I'm not bummed out on any of the people that were. But the things that I seem to be fascinated by are changing. And I don't think that's negative content per se. But I talk all the time about the confidence I see in people that walk around in this country that don't seem to be bothered by billboards and the images that people try to put out. And walking out on that balcony yesterday, just long enough to really get an idea that may not be on billboards, but last night it was front and center on the Malecone. And I just hope that nobody walked away feeling less than themselves because of what they were looking at on stage, because that's a disease that's destroying not Salinas, Ecuador, but the entire planet. Johnny Scoville likes to say, comparison is the thief of joy. I think I'm going to change that because I'm so tired of saying that my brother is fond of saying that. So you know what I'm going to say? Comparison is the assassin of joy. I promise. Keep comparing what you have, who you are, what you look like, whether your rack is big enough, whether your lips are puffy enough, all of that, and it will assassinate the joy in your life. I promise. Come back this afternoon. I'll have a lot to say about me. Between now and the next time I see you, do me a favor and put a little love in your heart. I got a surprise for you. Don't go anywhere. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and this right here, that is a princess in a basket. Right, Squirrel Nut Zipper? He's a good kitty. That's a cat in a basket. Took a while to train into the South American thing, but she's on it. Put some love in your heart. See you this afternoon, and don't miss the bus pass. Chase the Heat South America. Johnny's on fire. See you soon. He's on fire.